Here's our 22 Jeep Gladiator. Just happens to be the Rubicon. It's already got a small 2-inch lift kit in it, some wheel spacers on it, but the intake's completely stock. This is the 3.6 liter V6 engine, and as you know that have these things, pretty quiet, not real loud. There's one single exit, it's tucked up in there. Our rough country is going to be dual out each side of the bumper, cut it like a 45 and nice 3-inch tips, so it should look pretty badass. Like I said, these things are quiet. They don't have much of a tone, and the throttle response isn't great. So we're going to see if we can increase that a little bit, get a little more power out of it, and a little more sound out of it as well. So let's get it inside, get on a lift, and get some stuff unboxed. All right, that rather large box there from rough country. Here's the part number right here, 96015. That's a 2021, even though this is a 22, same thing. Gladiator with a 3.6 liter performance catback exhaust system, and that one is a split rear with the 45s and the black tips. I think they have several different options, one of which comes with the stainless or polished tips as well, but we don't have anything like that on this, so it's black, and that's the direction we wanted to go. Another thing worth mentioning, you could probably do this right in your driveway with no problem. I'm pretty sure the instructions tell you to cut the stock exhaust, and probably because the average person is going to be doing this in their driveway, that's maybe why they say it. I'm going to try to take it out in one piece. Hopefully I can, because you never know when you want to put it back on. So I'm going to go ahead and get this unboxed. We'll lay it out on the floor. I'll kind of show you what's in the box. Everything's actually packed really nice. Individual bags, individual boxes. We got bubble wrap. This is one of the exhaust tips, which is freaking huge. My God, it's a lot bigger than I expected it to be for this. And it's dual exhaust, so that's interesting. Anyway, that's exhaust tip, and it's got the RC logo right in it. I'll unbox it here in a minute, show you how. All right, here we go. We got our instruction sheet out. Came with a pretty cool, it's almost like a reflective decal as well. We got all our tubing laid out on the floor here, and it looks like they go from like a 3-inch to a 2.5. Maybe that's the front pipe, the 3-inch. I know it's a specialty flange on this pipe, and you reuse the stock clamp on just this one. Everything else comes with its own clamps. But honestly, the welds and everything on the pipes were done really well. I mean, really, really well, and cleaned up well. And the tips have the embossed logo. Again, they're huge, maybe a little big for my liking, but we'll see. One thing that I got to note here is this raw steel, which you know what's going to happen to that. So I don't know what we're going to do about that, but everything else looks like real good quality. So I'm going to throw this up on the lift, and we'll get the old exhaust off. And yeah, step one tells you to cut it right behind the muffler. And I don't want to do that unless we have to. So let me take a look. All right, here we are under the Gladiator. This is the clamp that you're going to reuse. So we are on the driver's side, up around the transfer case. And then they want you to cut it behind the muffler, which is like, this is technically the muffler. So right here, because clearly fishing it out is a pain in the butt. However, I'm going to try to fish this thing out. So we're going to get it out of the clamps. I'm going to unclamp it and start monkeying around with this thing. Maybe even take this off, this piece of cross brace off, and allow this front piece to drop completely. And it may not come out too bad. It may not come out at all. I don't know, but I'm going to find out in a minute. All right, so the answer is yes. You can take the exhaust out in one piece. You notice I have the coil spring sitting here, a whole bunch of hardware. I had to take the brace off the frame in order to get this off in one piece. And like I said, the coil spring, disconnect the shock, sway bar link. It's not super hard to take it out. You're not doing that in the driveway, but it is out in one piece. So if I wanted to reinstall it later, I could put it right back to factory, and we didn't cut it at all. Not to say you couldn't cut it and weld it or put a butt clamp on that. You'd be fine, but it's out. We're going to throw the coil back in and go right back to the exhaust now. I just wanted to show you that, yes, it can be done, but it was a little more involved than I had thought. All right, we're back on track. We got our first little pipe right here that you're going to reuse that factory clamp, because it's a specialty clamp, and it's a ball and socket type of, I don't know what they actually officially call that, but anyway, you're reusing that clamp. So I put that pipe on. Everything's on loose. The next pipe, the intermediate pipe, is about a 3-inch pipe. Clamp is on there loose. It's in the factory hanger. And then we're going to go into our split, which does it into the split duals. And one goes one way, one goes the other way. It's pretty straightforward. Let me mock the rest of it up. Not mock it up, but place it in lightly. And then we'll get everything lined up and tightened down. All right, again, everything is still very loose, and we're just kind of working our way down the line. Got the muffler in here, got the Y in here. Things are kind of close and hitting in the few spots, so we don't want that. But we got to kind of twist and move things around as we go, as well as putting that clamp that they gave us it mounts right here behind this, and then this pipe goes up and hangs into it on this side here. So actually my son's gonna come down here and give me a hand so I can actually kind of snug these and work our way back to where we want to be. We got this one here now, but again, I want to kind of work my way from front to back and slowly snug things up to get them where we want. All right, we've got the massive exhaust tips put on there. However, the hardware they give you for the exhaust tips are really tiny 5mm bolts, and I got them as tight as I can get them, and it's just not clamping it. So you either go up to a bigger bolt or tack weld it right here. So I will go ahead and do that. This side's in. However, I'm going to take this bracket they supply back out, and I'm going to paint that or powder coat it black, because that's going to rust up super quick. But otherwise, it's all snugged up and we don't have any vibrations. So we went ahead and banged along here. There's a few close areas up into here, right on this Y here, so you got to be careful of. But we're clear of everything right now, and nothing is rattling, banging, or clanging. So I'm gonna go ahead and put this frame piece back on and take that piece off, paint it, and we can listen to this. All right, we're gonna lower this down and start on the intake. All right, we're on to the intake now. We'll get our intake pieces all taken out of here and figure that out, and then take this thing for a ride. All right, we got it all unboxed here. We got the directions out. As you can see, the intake piping, the housing itself, and the filter. And we went ahead and actually bought the sock that goes over the filter as well. And here is the Rough Country part number as well. It's a 10479. Again, 2018 and 2020 and up. 3.6 liter. I believe it's the Gladiator. Yeah, just the Gladiator. But anyway, in the directions, basically what you're going to do is take off the complete stock intake. So that's this whole assembly here. We got a couple of zip ties here. This sensor is going to go a couple 10mm bolts. This vent hose comes off. This clamp gets loosened and the airbox comes out. Then our intake is out, and I'll kind of move on to the installation. So pretty simple, it's pretty straightforward. All right, it's pretty nice working on a new vehicle, I got to tell you, because nothing's rusting, everything comes apart. But we got the airbox out, the air intake tube out, the sensor out, which is laying over here. So we're going to go ahead and start laying in the new pieces. One thing you do have to do is there's two little rubber grommets on the bottom of the factory airbox here. Those get reinstalled back where they were. Boom, boom. And my son Evan, he is over here installing basically they're just extensions. They screw into their airbox, and it's their adapters, and those will click into the actual rubber grommets that I just had to leave in there. All right, now he's putting in the heat shield for the airbox here, and you do take out one of these 10mm bolts and put in this rubber grommet right here. And then you just push that down in there and go on to the next step, which is the tube. All right, we got our intake tube all set up with the rubber grommets on there loosely. So this goes onto the throttle body itself, and the other one goes into the airbox right into the filter, which Evan has ready over there. So we're gonna go ahead and slide this in the two locations. Ish, like so. It's gonna kind of go like there. I can't do it with one hand, but it'll go like that, and we'll slide it all together. All right, we got the intake on, all the clamps together. I will say this about their clamps, they're not that great. Just giving you an honest review, I had to run an actual nut on the back side of this one because it was just stripped out and not tightening down as well as this one. So we did resolve it. They're nice looking clamps as far as that goes. We also got our sock on the air filter and the rubber seal around the top of the heat shield box here. So, all right, the Rough Country seal of approval. Bam.
It's crooked.
No, it isn't. All right, we got the full exhaust and the intake now installed. So without further ado, let's start it up, see how it sounds. Here we go. Yeah, I gotta push the clutch in, so stand by. Here we go. I think right there. Oh, I can hear it rumbling already. All right, here it is at an idle. It's got a nice low rumble to it. I actually like it a lot. It sounds pretty badass. What I'm gonna do, I'm gonna go ahead and back this thing out so we get a realistic sound of it, not in the shop. So here is the idle. Nice mellow tone. And I didn't put the exhaust tips way out because I think it looks goofy because they are big. I think it's just subtle. They're there, but it's subtle. It sounds freaking pretty rad. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to go ahead and hit the throttle now so you get an idea how it sounds when it revs up. It's actually quite loud, but here you go. Do a couple different versions here. I think that sounds pretty rad. For a V6, that sounds pretty rad. It's not obnoxious, it does sound tuned. And the intake itself is pretty loud as well. If you like that sound, naturally, you go aftermarket, you're gonna get that sound. So check it out, listen to the intake. Right, that's a pretty aggressive sound. I'm not gonna lie, I actually like the sound of it a lot. Let's take it up the street and see how it is in the vehicle. All right, guys, so basically now, I mean, the roof is off, so it's gonna be louder than normal, but let's listen to the road noise in the exhaust. It's loud on takeoff. But all in all, cruising 145 miles an hour. It isn't that loud. There's no drone at all. It's not even rev it up. But it sounds good. It sounds really good. For the price point, I'm impressed. All right, everyone, that's going to bring us to the end of this episode where we took this 2022 Jeep Gladiator and we hyped it up a little bit by putting a rough country cold air intake, as well as it's actually a 3-inch single into a dual split exit exhaust for the rear. And it definitely woke it up. I saw a difference in throttle response. This is the 3.6 liter with the manual transmission. It definitely woke it up, I'm not gonna lie. It increased the sound level, but to me it's not obnoxious, and it's actually my wife's and she drives it a lot, so that was important. But I hope this helps. Drop a comment, let us know what else you want to see on the Gladiator. Take care, guys. Thanks for watching. Scott with Flip and Customize.